Hell Is Us is a strange atmospheric action-adventure that blends war-torn politics, supernatural horror, and heavy exploration. The world is caught between two major crises, a brutal religious civil war between the Palamists and the Sabinians, and something called the Calamity, which unleashes terrifying monsters known as Hollowwalkers. Everywhere you go, you uncover fragments of how these events connect, and the game's biggest strength lies in exploring the broken land and piecing together its mysteries. Exploration really is the focus here. There's no map, no objective markers, and no hand-holding. You're left to wander, search, and solve secrets on your own. It can be rewarding with varied maps, well-hidden clues, and plenty of surprises. At times it feels very relevant to real-world events too, especially when you encounter disturbing story beats like the Palamists' cruelty towards Sabinian civilians, like seeing people, even kids, with their limbs cut off, or the moment you rescue women kept as sex slaves in a barn who have been savagely tortured for months. The world building is dark, grounded, and sometimes uncomfortably powerful, and I personally like darker games. That said, the storytelling can be a bit undercooked. Outside of the lore items you find and a few NPC conversation, there isn't a whole lot to the narrative. Usually there is a cutscene in between each of the maps. It feels sparse, especially for a premise this rich. You kind of have to rely on learning the story for yourself from the items you find in the game world. Still, considering this is a small studio and a new IP, you can be a bit forgiving. Where the game struggles most though is the combat. The enemies are repetitive, with you fighting the same Hollowwalkers over and over, and there aren't really boss fights to break things up. Weapons feel limited too. Even with the upgrades, they don't really change the experience much. The only real twist comes from your drone abilities, which can spice up encounters, but since they're on cooldown, you don't really get to use them as much as you'd like. One frustration I did have while playing as well, while exploring, is the achievements and trophies are tied to exploration. And since clues are spread across different maps, it's sometimes unclear if you've missed something or if the game will reveal it later. In my playthrough, I pushed the story too far and ended up locking myself out of certain good deeds, but for most players, this won't be much of an issue since guides will be available when you play. Unless you decide to go in blind, just be aware that some content can be missable and you don't really have a way of knowing what is and is not. Despite that, Hell Is Us has a lot going for it. The maps are diverse, the secrets are satisfying, the world feels unique. It's not a combat-driven game, it's about discovery, atmosphere, and piecing together the truth behind the Calamity and the war. If you go in expecting an exploration-heavy adventure rather than a polished action game, you'll find something intriguing. I'd give it a 7.5 out of 10. It's rough around the edges with weak combat and a thin story delivery, but the exploration and world building carry it. More than anything, it feels like the foundation of a new franchise. If it expands and refines, it could be something really special in the future.